School is the beginning of a child's journey through life. School is where so many of their memories start, from meeting their best friend, their favorite teacher, where they learn to read and write, join clubs, play sports. It's where they develop their life tools. We know because we are also in school with your children. We are there every single day. We are Maschios.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our program on literacy. We're so excited to have everyone here. Oh, wait, we're here for our new lunch program. Just kidding. Well, it's nice to see everyone. My name is Justin Toomey. For those who don't know me or didn't just watch the video that went out about a half hour ago, I am the superintendent of schools and entering my second year here. So thrilled to be here. I grew up in the town. I'm from the town. I can't get enough of the town, so it's great to be back. And I know several of you in the room probably grew up here or are married to someone who grew up here or have a connection to someone who grew up here. So that's what makes this town so wonderful. So we're really excited to be here tonight. Obviously we wanted to provide you with an opportunity to understand a little bit more about the lunch program. I know there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of questions, I could tell you, and if you're an educator or know people in other districts, I came from another district. A lot of districts in the nearby area, including our high school, Whippany Park High School, have a lunch program and a food service provider. So I'm just going to give a brief little introduction of how we got to this point. I also do want to let people know that this session is being recorded so that we will be able to post it online for people who are not able to be here tonight. And we appreciate you choosing to be here with us for this evening. So just to take you through a very short synopsis, this process started in the fall of us exploring ways that we obviously would want to try to look at consistency for the district, but also understanding, some of the needs of the community and obviously some of the demographics that, need support. And so obviously there were a lot of factors that went into it and why we decided to, leave the Simply Gourmet that was happening through the PTAs. And so as we went through and we learned that we were going to be, going through the National School Lunch Program. And for those that don't know it, which most of you probably don't, it's a very prescribed process that you have to follow with their timelines and their deadlines, and it doesn't work with the timelines and deadlines that we would like, unfortunately, but that is what it is. And so we went through the process. We did a request for proposal, also called an RFP, and we had some food service providers bid on the award for the contract to have with our district. With that said, we also were working with the district architect as well as our facilities team to work on the equipment and the facilities that need to happen. So that is happening also. And then the other piece of it obviously was once the food service company was approved, which was board approved at July's board meeting, we were then we had to really hit the ground running because we obviously know school starts on September 4th, and no matter what's going to happen, school starts on September 4th and we need to be able to feed people. So there were a lot of people involved in this, and it still very much is a process that we are going through every single day. We are still continuing to work on this to make sure that it is up and running for September 4th. There is a lot of people who have been involved, and we really appreciate the support of our Board of Education. We're pleased to have, I did see one member here, Chris Matisich is with us tonight, so thank you, Mr. Matisich, for being with us. I don't want to miss anyone else. And we also want to thank our previous business administrator, Dr. Izbicki, who was an instrumental part in getting the ball rolling with this. Our new business administrator, who I'm going to point out is in the back of the room, Mrs. Marcy Krasny. Thank you so much. She's been a trooper. She's really lived two lives for the last couple of months, and she's officially here with us as of Monday. She brings a wealth of knowledge and experience to our district, and we're grateful to have her. We're also very fortunate to have our new director of technology, who is also in the back of the room working on the soundboard, Mr. Michael Falgaris. Oh, wow, he gets music for himself. Wow. Marcy didn't get music, and she's the one that pays the bills. I would make sure she gets music. And we're also very grateful to have wonderful administrators in this district, and we're so pleased that 3 of them have chosen, when they could have been anywhere else in America, to be with us tonight. And we thank Mr. Camion from Salem Drive School. We could clap for him. Mrs. Camion from Mount View Road School. And Mr. Stark from Bee Meadow School. So we appreciate them being here as well, and obviously as principals of a school, right, they're kind of like the CEO of their building, and they're the traffic cop, and they make sure all the comings and goings happen, and they make it look effortless. But what you don't see behind the scenes are all of the hard work and dedication. Well, probably many of you in the room do see it behind the scenes because they're involved with so many of the things in their schools. But we appreciate what they do and realize this is a big undertaking, and it is going to be a process. And I think that's the message. We met with the PTA advisory last week. So I would also like to shout out, I believe I saw the B Meadow president, Mrs. Amaducci here, somewhere there. I think I see in the back the Salem Drive school president, Mrs. Lehman. And I think, do I see Mount View Road's president? I don't know if I do, but I know they're here in spirit if I don't see her. So thank you. We can clap for the Mount View Road president also. But again, thanks to all the PTAs for their support, and we also appreciate last year's presidents as well, who were part of the process of getting us here. And I think I saw Mrs. Oakes from B Meadow School here as well, so thank you for being here tonight. I don't see Mrs. Palumbo, but that's okay. Thank you to her as well for all she did. So it's been a team effort, and there's probably other people I missed, so I apologize. But we are excited about this, and what we shared with the PTA advisory, what I will share with you today, is that yes, it is still a process. Yet this is still ongoing. So in the beginning of the year, the Memorial Junior School kitchen will be the sole kitchen that is cooking for all of the schools, and then the food will be transported to the other schools. We have serving stations in every school that will have hot and cold stations available to them, and more of what I'm talking about will be answered once you actually hear from our team that I introduced. But just to give you an idea of the things that we're doing from a district to prepare for this, and then once B Meadow needs a little bit of work in their kitchen, for those of you that have been in the B Meadow kitchen, the area where all the garbage cans were stored, that's where that's a very large space. So it's actually going to be a full professional kitchen that's going to be doing the cooking for both Mount View Road and Salem Drive School. And then as the program runs and as the program generates revenue, eventually there could be a day where Mount View Road and Salem Drive also have the ability to cook on site, right? But we have to take one step at a time. It is a process. In the long run, it is going to be a great addition to the district, but there are going to be bumps in the road, as with anything, right? And I jokingly say it, and I know I'm being recorded, but I know the splash pad was the big topic of conversation for the town going into the summer, right? So I saw Mr. Cashin today, and I said, Mr. Cashin, don't worry, we're going to take the attention from the splash pad to the lunch program. So we're going to take it over for you. And I'm sure in another month I will be on Facebook for something else, and that's okay. But I say it in joking, obviously, but we obviously do what we do because we care. We don't sit around just trying to think about how we can, mess things up. We want to make things grow. We want to develop. We want to move the district forward. And it's all the people that I mentioned, as well as all of you, for being here tonight that have gotten us to this point. So you didn't come here to hear me. One housekeeping item, or two actually. If you do hear any emergency alarms go off in the unlikely event of emergency, the exits are in the rear and the side of the auditorium. We do have restrooms out the back. Make a right. There's a men's and a women's room on the left-hand side. And we also do have a microphone that is set up here. So because this is being recorded, we are going to have a Q&A. So we're going to have an introductory session. They'll explain the program. You'll get to meet the people that I'm going to introduce in a moment. Then we will go to a Q&A, but we're going to ask you to make a line along the far wall because we want to make sure that your question might be a question someone that's watching at home once we post it has, or number two, we want to make sure that, if someone asks the question, then maybe if it's your question, you don't have to worry about getting up and standing in line. So with that, did I miss anything? All right, well, have a great night. Take a cookie, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. And last, but I will say, for those of you that did have a chance to review the back to school guide, I appreciate you going through that. We apologize. There were some glitches. Some people had issues with the return to school forms, and we are working through that. And obviously, we appreciate your patience and flexibility with that. Part of that progress is that we are, we're moving. We're using Power School in ways that we haven't used it before. And as many times as we test things, of course, course, when you actually go to do it, it doesn't always do what you want it to do. So we appreciate your patience as well with that. And so with that said, Maschio's food service serves a lot of people, and I don't want to be their spokesperson because I'm really not, but they were the people that the agency, the group, the provider that did win the bid and are obviously approved as our food service provider. And we are very grateful to have an all-star team that has been with us, from the very beginning of this process about, 6 weeks ago or whatever, not even, it probably feels like maybe 6 weeks, 4 weeks, I don't know. It feels like it's been a year, no offense. But we are very excited to have them here. So I'm going to turn it over to them to introduce everyone. I'll be here all night, and we turn it over. I'm getting my exit music I can hear already. So Mr. Keith, we turn it over to you. Here you go.
Food service. I have a couple of very special people here with me today. Can everyone hear me well? I try not to stand too close to the microphone. So to my far right here, I have Frank Maschio.
I brought my A-team today.
President and co-owner of Maschio's Food Service. I also have one of our area supervisors, Sarah Banks, who will be overseeing Hanover Township directly, and Lorraine Kunick, our Director of Nutrition. We have a lot of information. We're going to cram into a short period of time, so we do have a couple of slides. We don't want to overwhelm anyone, but we would like to open the floor to questions and answers as quick as possible, because I know that's the main reason why everyone really wants to be here tonight, to find out the information that they want to know. So first of all, thank you for welcoming us tonight into Hanover to answer your questions and to be here, and thank you for having us as your new food service provider. So we are Maschio's. Students have loved our meals for more than 30 years. Our headquarters are in northern New Jersey. Maschio's Food Services was founded by Frank Maschio, and soon after, Frank was joined by Ken Torsch, our CEO and co-owner. Integrity and innovation are thoughtfully taken into consideration, optimizing purchasing and menu decisions under their direction. I'm sure many of you have heard about the National School Lunch Program, which is due to Hanover Township. The National School Lunch Program, also known as the NSLP, is a federally assisted meal program operating in public, non-profit private schools and residential child care institutions. It provides nutritionally balanced, low-cost and no-cost lunches to children each school day. The program was established under the Richard B. Russell National School Lunch Act, signed into law by President Harry Truman in 1946. So one of the things we're bringing into Hanover is a very unique point of service sales system called Pay Schools. Pay Schools essentially will be the register that the children come up to make sure that their meals are paid for, any a la carte is paid for. There are a lot of unique features that will work really well for not only the students, but the families in Hanover Township. I'm sure there's going to be some questions about that, but just to touch on a few things, you will be able to log in, create accounts for the students, put money on their accounts, check to see what they're purchasing on a daily basis. You'll even be able to block certain things. For example, if you don't want Johnny eating ice cream today, you can go in, block the ice cream button, and that day you won't be able to purchase that product. What else am I know? Okay, so also the POS system itself, through the Power School system, has the ability to do free and reduced applications. They're completely anonymous, so if there are any families that need to submit those applications, they have no fear of anyone finding out who's filling them out, and the system will immediately generate who is a free, who is a reduced, and who is a paid student. Is there anything else you'd like to add to that? So our lunch menus are changing on a daily basis. In the 3 elementary schools, we'll be offering a hot option every day, as well as 3 cold options in case the students don't want that hot option that day. Typically, we offer the same 3 cold options as a rotating menu for the week, and then the next week those 3 options change, but the hot options change on a daily basis. Some of the very unique and innovative things that this program offers through a website called NutriSlice is not only the ability to see the menus, but you can actually physically go on and click an option and see the nutritional information for those options and find out the ingredients of the products being used. Anything you want to add on that? Oh, my apologies. The NutriSlice app is available on all phones, Galaxies, the iOS products. You can go on at any time, you can download it, pick your school. I don't know if we put the slide in, but you also have the ability, which my kids love, is you can connect it to your Alexa device if you have one, and your kids can, on a daily basis, ask what's for lunch tomorrow. That can be a bit annoying as a parent after a while, but kids love it. So Lorraine, I'd like you to speak, if possible, on some nutrition and food allergy information.
Absolutely. Thank you, Keith, for that. So I'm going to speak about nutrition and food allergy management program. So just a little background for the National School Lunch Program and then the nutrition that is behind it. So the nutrition that's behind the National School Lunch Program actually does follow the dietary guidelines for Americans. So currently we are in 2020 to 2025 version of the dietary guidelines for Americans. And if anyone does not know what that document is, that is a series of I know physicians work on it, dietitians, I know the United States Department of Agriculture. I just wanted everyone to know that all of these products and all the nutrition behind it, they do follow the dietary guidelines for Americans. So really what the current guidelines really focus on are eating healthy at every stage of life, so infancy throughout all of adulthood, and really what the dietary guidelines for Americans focuses on right now is to really customize and enjoy nutrient-dense food and beverage choices that reflect personal preferences, cultural traditions, and you'll see a lot of that on our menus. So it's not just a one-size-fits-all, so we definitely take into account cultural preferences, et cetera, to build our menus. Okay, and I'm not going to go through all of this, but this is a really nice snapshot of the dietary guideline and what school meals provide. So again, I'm not going to go through all of it, but as you can see, there are a few issues that the dietary guidelines focuses on. So things like sodium, fats, grains, dairy, vegetables, weight management, all of that, and then what the school meals actually do to address those issues. Okay, I'm going to touch a little bit upon the actual meal components. So meal components and offer versus serve. So you may have heard of this, you may have not, so I'm going to try to keep this very brief. So with the National School Lunch Program, we offer 5 meal components. That is grains, a meat or a meat alternate, milk, we also offer 2 different choices, low fat or fat free, fruits, vegetables in various different subgroups, so all the colors of the rainbow, I like to say. And as well as with offer versus serve, we offer those 5 components. Students do have to take 3 out of 5. One has to be a half cup of a fruit or vegetable for us to count that meal as a complete meal. So again, 5 components, students must take 3 out of 5. So that's a very general guideline, but as you can see, we do offer a fully complete meal with all the components available. One thing that is not on this slide that I do want to point out is we also have what's called a harvest market. So that pretty much is a fruit and vegetable grouping that has all the colors of the rainbow where students can pick, any fruit or vegetable they want essentially. We also utilize local produce as well, during the right season. So I know fall is right around the corner, so I'm very excited to kind of see the new produce that's going to be available as well. So with that too, so students can take up to 2 fruits and 2 vegetables. So even let's say if the hot vegetable, let's say is green beans, they are more than welcome to take another vegetable component. So whether that's cucumber coins or carrots or anything like that, we obviously want them to take a full balanced meal. So they're more than welcome to take up to 2 fruits and 2 vegetables. Thank you. All right. So we went over all this. So this is just some of our signage to help out our students. So you'll see this in the cafeteria, really guiding our students for what to take. We work really hard on this. We also have a whole harvest market flyer as well for this. Okay, I will now switch gears a little bit into food allergy management. So this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. We spend a lot of time on this. So with Maschios, we have an entire food allergy management program. And this program is really geared towards those students with life-threatening food allergies. So typically what we deem as a life-threatening food allergy is if a student has an EpiPen order for their allergy. However, we can obviously accommodate any sort of other allergy. that is what we like to call overt. So something like maybe strawberries or oranges, that's something that's very easily identifiable on the tray that we can put a note in the point of sale that I know Keith was talking about, and those students typically are fine with enjoying our regular school meals. With this program, this is really geared again towards those students who have EpiPen orders or who have multiple allergies. We can also accommodate students with celiac disease, PKU. We've done diets for students with kidney issues. So you name it, I've probably done it. It's something I take a lot of pride in, so I definitely want to let everyone know that that is available for those students that require special dietary needs. What you see on the screen here is actually a glimpse of our allergy kits. So for every student that is a part of our program, we develop a specialized menu for them. So I do have a couple samples, but it wasn't enough to give out to everybody. But every student would get their own allergy kit. The theme is purple because purple is the color of food allergy preparation, while teal, as I'm sure, you know, again, fall is along the way here. If you see any sort of teal pumpkins, that's food allergy awareness, where purple is food allergy preparation. But essentially, every student would get their own equipment, they get their own cutting board, own tongs. Everything is kept separate for those students because we definitely, again, take this very seriously, and we want those students to enjoy our school meals, to be able to go through the lunch line with their peers, but we want to make sure they're doing it safely. You'll also see here a little copy of our labels as well that gets on all of our allergy kits as well. Okay, so this is just a sample of a couple of our allergy management safe menus. So again, these are only samples, but this is just a dairy-free one, but we also have a gluten-free one. We have a dairy and egg-free one. We have them for all of the top 9 allergens, but we can also customize them for any allergen that a student would require a specialized menu for.
What's that? So Sarah's going to let you guys know what it's like to kind of go through a lunch line as a student. If I can, there you go.
Okay, hi everybody. So what we're expecting, you know, when your kids come through the cafeteria, we're expecting them to, you know, again, it's going to kind of be school by school, depending on your administrators and how they run their cafeterias. You know, your students are going to line up. They're going to come through the line the way that we've set up all of the lines. They're going to have their hot entree first. Then they're going to have their any of the cold options that they have access to. So some of the things that we're offering here in Hanover, bento boxes, salads, sandwiches. You know, what we call bagged meals, like peanut butter and jelly meals, things like that. The kids are then going to have access to their cold meals, their fruits, their vegetables, their milk as they come through the line. Then they'll come up to the point of sale, and where the cashier will ring them up with a swipe card. They're going to have like a barcode scanner that gets swiped at the register and then entered into the point of sale. And then what? I know, I forgot that was a hot topic. I know that in the past, parents have had to pre-order meals ahead of time. That doesn't exist anymore. Your kids are basically going to be able to have autonomy in terms of what they want for school lunch. So, you know, even if they decide in the morning that they want mac and cheese and now they come down and they decide they want a bento box instead, there's other options for them aside from, you know, just the one option, and the parents don't have to have as much planning to prepare for school lunch.
I also just want to include that obviously with the NutriSlice website, all of you have access to it and know what the menu is. So you have the opportunity to talk to your children and guide them through the menu. So it's not like they're just coming in and doing whatever they want. You know what's being served on a daily basis. You can have a conversation with your children and say, I think it would be a good idea to have this, or find out what they want, or you can just let them order what they want to order. It's completely however you guys want to take care of that. So with that being said, if there are any questions, feel free to come on up.
and we do our best to answer everything.
And as you walk up, sorry, you're about to finish, but I'm going to talk. So you got one of the forms in the packet, which was a free reduced lunch application. Now that might be something you haven't seen before, and you might not think that that's something you even qualify for. And we understand that people's financial decisions are very private, very personal. We're not looking to get into those finances, but there are criteria as part of the National School Lunch Program that you might be qualified for some subsidies towards your child's lunch, right? So what generally people can do is fill it out, even if it's not necessarily going to apply to them. But if you know of someone, and obviously it's a very personal thing, the names are very confidential. As they talked about with free and reduced lunch, there's not a publicized list. They don't even know, as a food service provider, who the free and reduced lunch list is. It's the business administrator, obviously central office administration, and the principal, and that is all that would know. And it's strictly so that we can make sure that we're providing meals to people, to children that need it. And with those meals, we can never deny a child a meal. So while your account, you should have money on your child's account, we're never going to deny a child a meal, but we can deny a child a snack. So if there's a zero balance, right, and they want an ice cream, they're not going to be able to get an ice cream. But obviously, if they don't have a lunch, right, instead of you having to run all the way from work, they could just go up, and we will give them a lunch, and then you could go back on and add the money after. If they're a free and reduced lunch, obviously, you wouldn't have to worry about loading that money on. However, as free and reduced lunch, we wouldn't be entitled to a snack. You would just be entitled to a complete meal,
Correct.
which was offered there. So I know, and a lot of this will kind of come and as you guys see it in place. The principals are working hard to, they're going to make it work for their individual schools, so it might not be exactly identical from Salem Drive to Mountain View to Meadow, because as Mr. Stark has reminded us, his kitchen or his cafeteria could fit, his whole school in it, whereas Salem Drive and Mountain View's cafeterias might not be as spacious as the others. So, it might look a little bit different, but the idea is the kids can order what they want to order every day. So I'm not looking to just talk at you, but I know, having done a principal that had a lunch program, I know these are some questions that would come up from parents. And the middle school kids, we would have, they would learn their PIN, so their student ID PIN, so they'd be able to punch in a PIN, and that would access their account. While everyone, we would like to, obviously use the Payables app, there are options for cash and check as well. So if you would like to bring, send cash in, right, you could put it in an envelope and send it with your child. Now, I always say that with caution, because, when you give a first grader $50 in an envelope, maybe that doesn't get to where it's supposed to be, right? So I just say that checks are also available made out to the Hanover County Public Schools, and you can also do that. And the beauty of that is, if you don't want to pay the credit card fee, which I don't know what the fee is for the credit card fee, but I think it's just like anything right now with the credit card fee, 4% or something like that. It could be loaded onto your child's account by the cashier, in the cafeteria. So there's a lot of options, and we don't want to deny students the opportunity to obviously participate in this. So please, if you're ready for questions and you're rip-roaring to go, please come on over here. Yes, thank you for.
I knew that was
so great.
the first one.
I really appreciate you.
We saw you walk up, we were prepared.
Well, we're concerned with the elementary school kids, but is it a physical card? Like, do they have to keep it on their person? Do they get it before lunch?
So it depends, right? So I know one school is doing lanyards, so I should talk about that.
Come on up, Justin.
So it really depends on how the school is going to manage it, but the cards will obviously be accessible to the children as they're going to the lunchroom. They're not going to have to keep it like in a wallet and then have it and make sure that they have to do it every single day. Those logistics are going to come more from the principals, because again, like I said, each school is going to manage that a little bit differently. But of course, we realize there's a developmental appropriateness to this, and we realize that, younger kids are forgetful, and the car's not going to make it from 8:30 in the morning all the way until 12:45 in the afternoon. So that would be more of a school-specific thing that would come from Mr. Clark.
When you load the account, can you put like $25, $30 like on it? Do you get any kind of warning when it's like low?
Sure. You can actually, on the POS website, Pay Schools, you can load as much or as little money as possible, and then you can set limitations on it to say, when it hits $5 or when it hits $10, put another $25. And I believe you will get an email letting you know that the funds are running low before it hits the card. I'm not 100%.
You should get an auto replenishment email
Yeah.
prior to it auto replenishing.
At the same time, sorry, I lost what I was going to say next there. I apologize.
Oh, about Pay Schools?
Yeah. Well, you can do the auto replenishment, and again, you do get an email letting you know that it is going to hit that credit card, and you can put a stop to that at any time.
Can the kids be forced to like get lunch? Like, I don't want my first grader to be like, I'll take this fruit and this Pop-Tart and I'll take an ice cream for my friend.
Oh, no. If they have money on their account and they don't want to buy a lunch and they just want an ice cream or a Pop-Tart or whatever the case may be, they absolutely, as long as they have funds in their account, can purchase whatever they want to purchase. Oh, okay. So
Gotcha.
on the other side of that, you're going to be able to, as a parent, go into the Pay Schools website and lock off everything you don't want them purchasing. So if they come up to the line and you've gone in and set the expectations in that website, when it comes up in front of us, we'll be able to hit the lunch button, but everything else will be completely blocked out and we won't be able to charge them for it. So we'll let them know, unfortunately, not today.
And lunch is very, very short. Like, I'm just concerned about like the process of them lining up, and obviously it's going to be a learning curve of them being able to take and pay. Like,
Not only that, to be completely honest with you, in the beginning, it's going to take a little longer. The children are getting used to it. We're getting situated. We're all learning each other. But typically after the first 3-4 weeks, it's smooth sailing from there. Very good.
Question specifically for allergy, the big thing. So I noticed that you had like a purple, I don't know.
An allergy kit.
Yeah.
Yes, kit. So does that mean parents that we have to go on and order their lunch ahead of time and then they get it prepared and it comes to the school, or like something?
You want me to do that one? I got it.
I could talk about the process.
Through the schools and I don't work vice versa. So I'm not sure how that looks. I'm trying to get
Right.
people on like what we have to do as parents with, worried about allergies and all.
Right, so if this is a life-threatening allergy where you are requesting like a specialized menu, is that correct? Okay, so for anything that's a specialized menu, that is something, and I have a handful of business cards as well, so that is something that we do have a process for. So in order for us to provide anything specialized, we do need some sort of medical documentation. So I know that sounds scary, but it doesn't have to be like this lengthy, like 10-page, with lab results or anything like that. We just need something from a licensed medical professional stating what the allergies are. That is updated because I know, especially us coming in as a new provider, allergens can change from year to year, maybe over the summer. So once we have that, we do a whole it's a whole slew of emails. We obviously, work hand in hand. So myself, as well as my dietitian team, work with all of the parents or school nurses to really get a set menu in place. So you'll be a part of that whole process. But once we have a signed menu in place, then that's really the green light for us as a food service provider to make sure we order in that specialty product. But as far as the ordering goes, so typically our safe menus are geared towards a student eating Monday through Friday. So that's not to say that we can't tailor them, but as long as we have a signed menu in place, and let's just say you want your child to eat every single day, then our staff will just be aware that that student is eating. So you don't have to do a whole pre-order or anything like that. The only thing that we would require a pre-order for is if a student wants like a special swap out meal, because that's something, we want to make sure that we're making the right meal for that student. But that would be the only thing that typically parents will have to go in and they would just contact like our staff and let us know. But other than that, as long as assigned menu's in place, the student gets fed. And if Keith wants to jump in.
I was going to say, if I could add in, I think also what you're looking for is, do you have to call every day and ask, say?
No.
So that menu is completely set up beforehand. Unless you call us and say, Johnny's not coming to school today, we're going to make that meal every day in our main kitchen. We're going to use all the specialty kit information or product that we need to use to segregate all those components so there's no cross contact. It's going to go in a separate box. It's going to go in a separate bag from all of the other food, and it's going to be sent over to that school completely separated from all the other food. Then it'll be there for the child.
if I don't do that, for example, there is that risk of that cross-contamination, right? So I heard you say there's peanut butter and jelly, for example. So even if I didn't do that whole special menu, there's really no safe options for students with things like tree nut allergy, sesame.
So,
You can't just go in and say, oh, I feel like I'm gonna get lunch today.
so we always recommend that if a student has a life-threatening allergy, they do go through requirements to take care of that. However, what I can say is that I am pretty positive, and you can confirm this, we use absolutely nothing with sesame. Even our bakery products come in from a nut-free, tree nut-free, peanut-free, sesame seed-free facility. And the only product that has peanut is a pre-wrapped, uncrustable peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Not only is it a pre-wrapped sandwich to keep it from contacting other products, it goes in a second bag where we make the meal for them so that there's no chance that that can contact anything else. Absolutely.
There's no open peanut butter or anything like that. So I will just state that too, is although I'm more than happy to do specialized menus for peanut and tree nut students, the only product that we are currently providing would be an Uncrustable. So again, that's a prepackaged peanut butter and jelly sandwich, which would be a swap out option. It would never be like the only option for those students. So I can say probably just from experience with all the school districts, I probably only have maybe a handful of peanut and tree nut safe menus, because most of the time, knowing that we don't purchase anything with peanuts or tree nuts, students are more than comfortable to go through our regular school line. But again, that's you know, depending on the parent. So again, I'm more than happy to do that, but you know, that's up to the parent's discretion.
Thank you so much.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So sorry, I came in a little bit late, and you just mentioned there is no tree nuts in any of the options, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Right.
Zero.
And then my son specifically, his life-threatening allergy as well as tree nuts is shellfish. Do you do anything with shellfish?
No, we do not.
Okay, so then I do not need to be specialized for.
No, so our safe menus are geared towards if you want that specialized menu. So, you know, really, I've only seen safe menus if you have students, you know, who have celiac disease, or if you have students with multiple allergies where baked-in products become an issue. But for something like that, again, I'm more than happy to do it, but, you know, if we can offer more variety to students, I'd rather do that than promote a specialized menu.
Hi, everybody. Quick question. So looking at the menu list, it says school lunch, and then it says slice of pizza. So if we just want to order a slice of pizza, is that an option? Is it offered daily?
So pizza's not offered daily in any of the schools, but we are continuing business with Palermo's, which is a local pizza place that you were using in years past, and they will be able to come up and either get a complete meal, which offers a slice of pizza as well as the other components, or they can just come up and buy a slice of pizza as an a la carte item.
And we'll know in advance, the students and parents will know on the menu, pizza's being offered on Thursday, let's say.
Absolutely. As a matter of fact, if you take a look at the website right now on the menus, it'll show you which schools have pizza on which days. I believe we did 2 schools on Wednesdays and 2 schools on Thursdays, so not to interrupt with Friday night's pizza dinner at home.
Great, thank you.
Absolutely.
Hey, real quick question. You were talking about the limitations and voting and whatnot. Is there limitations that you can set on a daily limit? And I don't know also, are all of the options comparable? So like just say you have one dish that's, you know, $7, another one that's 10, so I could try to like stop the child from
Spending too much money?
something like that.
Absolutely. So the elementary school's lunch price is $4, and the middle school is $4.25. The a la carte prices range from approximately 75 cents to $2.25. So you can go on the Pay Schools website as a parent and limit how much money they can spend on a daily basis. So if your child's coming in and you know he's going to have lunch today and you want him to be able to buy a bag of chips, you might set that at, you know, $5.75, let's say, so they have the money to be able to do that.
Procedure again. So it sounds like you're cooking the food that day for like a hot lunches. Is this food that's going to be in trays where the students come up and handle the utensils themselves? Or are you pre-packaging the hot meals like this many ounces, and then do they pick it themselves, or does someone hand it to them? And what if they want, well, let's say a mac and cheese that's this big. Can they say, I want 2 that day, or how does that work? Like, how does that process work?
So all the hot food currently will come out of Memorial until B Meadow is finally taken care of and complete. In the meantime, we will be serving the food. The kids won't have to touch anything but take the tray out of our hands once the meal is complete. Each school right now has its own hot well service line as well as a cold well area. So we will, if it's mac and cheese, broccoli, and a breadstick that day, let's say, you'll have on the hot line a pan of mac and cheese, a pan of broccoli, and a pan of breadsticks. And as the students come up, we're going to portion out the correct portion sizes on the tray and hand that to them. And if they tell us they want a side of broccoli, that's obviously free if they want to, because they can take a second vegetable. But if they do want another portion of the actual protein, that would obviously be an a la carte charge for them.
But it's all, your staff is the one that's handling
The
it.
kids will touch nothing. Okay. Yeah, Justin brings up a good point. Just so you're aware, all of the people that will be working in the schools go through a full criminal history background check. It is a very thorough fingerprint background check. So if they have had any criminal activity within the last 20 years, it'll pop up and we will not be allowed to hire them. So you can feel safe and assured that the people working in the schools are safe to be around your children.
Hi, quick question. So I was looking at the menu. It has very limited vegetarian options, like they're vegetarian. So are there any plans to enhance the menu later, or is that the way?
Did you say vegetarian? Yeah, so currently we do have some vegetarian options. A lot of those options consist of salads and bento boxes, but there are definitely hot entrees that we will be doing on a pretty, I'd say, weekly basis. We do a lot of like vegetarian specific days where they will have that option for the hot entree as well. Absolutely.
I'm just curious about celiac allergies. Would that fall under the same guidelines and restrictions as the other food allergies?
Yes, so that would be a process where obviously I would need some medical documentation to just state the diagnosis, but then we will work together to develop that specialized menu for that student.
Are we able, let's say they only wanted lunch 3 days a week, or are we able to tailor it to certain days a week, or would it have to be the full 5?
No, so we can work with whatever schedule you choose to. So if you want them to purchase, maybe 3 days a week, or if you want them to 5 days, so we can definitely go and work around that. I mean, it's not like you're stuck to definitely 5 days a week.
And is the salad, is that an option every day, or is that just kind of a special lunch that's offered during the week?
So the salads are one of our 3 cold options at all the schools. Those rotate weekly, so it may be a week where we have a fruit and cheese bento box, an Uncrustable sandwich meal, and a garden salad with crispy chicken or grilled chicken. Then that'll last throughout an entire week, and then those 3 options change. I would say a salad will be on the menu 1 to 2 weeks a month.
And for example, so if it's the crispy chicken, would we be able to substitute for grilled if there is that?
So if that's something, salad is something specific that you want for a celiac child, when Lorraine is creating the menu with her team, she'll go through some of those items with you, and you will actually approve that menu before we serve it. So if you say to Lorraine, hey, I'd really like a grilled chicken salad, I'm sure her and her team will do their best to make sure that happens.
I mean, especially because of the grain component too. So remember, we're offering 5 of those meal components, and one of those is a grain. So for something, especially for celiac, I would highly recommend having that specialized menu, especially in the case of, the grilled versus the crispy chicken. I would hate for any sort of cross contact to happen. Of course.
I have questions from a small group.
Sure.
Okay. The blocking. How long does a block last? Like, yeah, I want to block ice cream from Monday through Thursday, but I want to allow it to be on a Friday. Do I have to go in every single day and block it on a daily basis, or do I block it once until I unblock it?
You block it once until you unblock it.
Awesome. What is the process like if they're going to be holding the card, if it drops and then the other kid drops and then they get swapped and then they start paying for other kids' lunches and things like that? Like, do you understand what I'm saying? It's not like you can ask the kid their name when they're like doing it to make sure the card goes with the kid. I don't know.
If they swipe the card and the name comes up on the computer and we realize that they dropped it and it's in question, we'll definitely ask them their name and match it up with what's on the computer screen.
Would they be on the actual card?
The name and ID number will be on their card, so they'll be able to identify it.
Awesome. Is there an option if the kid at this age knows the PIN number and the mom's like really nervous about the card, can they do the PIN number instead? Or is it like only a card for elementary school?
We have the ability at all 4 schools to do PIN or card.
Is there a quantity limit? So I think the question was like,
Can they order 12 things of ice cream?
you want chips? Okay, who else wants chips? Oh, that's gonna be my son. Oh, sure, okay, I'm gonna go get like 12 chips for the table, my treat.
So typically, I don't have any type of information on the system that says you can't buy more than this, but we do a very good job of making sure they're not going crazy with snacks. It's not our intention to, spend all your money. There, you can put a dollar limit on, as we discussed before. So if you know a chip is $1.25 and you're like, 2 snacks is all they're getting, you can go in and put $2.50. That's that, and they won't be able to spend any more money.
Okay. Do you get the card every day? Meaning, like, if you don't want the kid to get lunch that day, because you're packing it and you're packing the snacks, but the kid has a different mindset, but can you say, oh, he's only gonna get lunch Tuesday and Thursday?
Yeah, no, I appreciate the question. So unfortunately, according to the National School Lunch Program guidelines, we're not allowed to deny a lunch. So if a student comes up, we don't know if they brought a lunch from home, there's no way to block it because we can't say no. So the a la carte items, we can kind of stop that, but when it comes to an actual meal, because there are so many kids in the country that it's the only meal they get, we have no choice but to serve it.
But they're getting the card every day, regardless. It's not like, if we can say to the teacher, like, I want them to get the card on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So the teachers typically, the way, and I'm not sure 100% how the actual schools are going to handle this, but a lot of them will give the cards to the students as they're going to the lunchroom. So if you tell them that they don't get the card that day, if they come up to us and they don't have the card, we do have to give them the meal.
Okay. Pizza, that was a question. Where is it coming from?
Palermo's. Yeah. Oh, I had mentioned it before that we are continuing the relationship with your prior vendor.
Oh, cool. And then, if people don't want to do credit card fees, when can they bring in the check or potentially having a parent come in, bring it in the morning of, or I don't know.
At any time, I think the way we are working it potentially would be that it goes either to the teacher or to the office. I mean, if it's the school, the school, they make the decision on how that's going to be handled. We can take those payments at any time.
Okay, you can do it with the morning of.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Disclaimer with cash, we just want to be mindful, not that you shouldn't, cash or check are fine, but please realize, the teachers and the secretaries are going to do their best, but we just want to make sure that, we're not upset and calling and screaming at the secretary and saying, my child brought in $20, where is it, right? So usually, and I can tell you, as a former principal in an elementary school, it rarely happened and rarely was an issue, but I just think we just want to be mindful of, kids and the concept of money. I know sometimes book fare money might go missing or other types of money might go missing, so we just want to be mindful of that so that, we're not denying cash, but obviously I would suggest not sending it in every single day with your kid. I would probably suggest bringing it in, in smaller amounts, but we're not going to deny the ability to bring cash in. This is Krasny. Marcy, go ahead.
By the time that chance to get up where you go, after
So just to repeat that for the recording, and in case you couldn't hear, recommend getting a packet of envelopes, whether it be from the dollar store or whatever, child's name, teacher's name, first and last name, and making sure that you have that information on there so that if there's no mix-ups, if there's 3 Johnnies, that they know which Johnny is supposed to be deposited.
Just to add on to that, in the Pay School system, you have access to the student's ID number from your Power School system, so that can be written on the envelope just in case as well.
Are vegetarian, and I know in other school districts you have a full vegetarian menu or like a a vegetarian like option every single day, like hot lunch or something, from what I've heard, where they have more. So are you planning, like, is this menu static, or are you planning on like evolving it based on what the students buy, based on what the requests are, or
Our plan right now is to evolve the menu as this district evolves, and we have the ability to provide service out of each of the buildings. Currently, with the smaller kitchen at Memorial, until the new kitchen is built, we have a limited capacity as far as space. So as we expand, I think you're going to see a lot more options. But on the other side of that, with the options we're currently serving, the hot option that day may not be a vegetarian option, but we will always have a cold option that is vegetarian.
how do the children know? Like, let's say the children don't eat, or they don't like mushrooms, or they don't like, they don't like a certain kind of meat or something, they don't know what's in it, or is there someone going to be readily available to answer their questions?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the staff in the kitchens will be able to answer those questions for a student if they come up.
A last question is just, it's very specific and personal, but is your macaroni and cheese being fresh, or is it like the pre-made?
The JTM macaroni and cheese, which is a very popular product with the kids, is a pre-made product that comes in frozen, and it is reconstituted and made. It is a fresh product, frozen.
This payment plan, I'm hearing now, cash, check, credit card. Is there a way to like ring up our bank accounts, like ACH, so that way there's no credit card fees, but we don't have to worry about cash?
I believe there is still a fee with ACH, but yes, you can link your bank account as opposed to like a debit or credit card.
I think the POS system itself is like a convenience charge, so whether you do it as a credit card or you do it as your bank account linked, there is still a fee. The only way to avoid that is by sending in a check or cash.
Okay, and sorry, I probably went over this, but
That's okay.
The amount of money that we're giving, what is that? Like, do we just give like a large sum and then we limit it and lock it? I think I missed all this, or it has to be on a week-to-week basis?
You can do it daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, however you want to do it. You have the ability to put on $5, $50, $500. So it's really your decision.
For example, you put like, send a check for $150. We have that money in this like portal to then distribute for as long as it goes till.
Absolutely. And you have the ability to go on to the Pay Schools website at any time to see how much money is left.
Okay, and the replenishment thing was only for a credit card or a bank account?
Yes, yes.
And we would just have to follow up if it was cash or check on where we are?
No. Even if you use cash or check, once we deposit that money into their account, it's in that system and you'll be able to see it from your home computer. Absolutely. Did you want to add something?
You also have the ability, you also have the ability in the Pay School system to view all the transactions. So, if you ask your child if they bought chips that day and they're like, no, it'll show you in Pay Schools.
Yeah.
Okay.
About the preschool account. That one, is that the account we set up for my kids next semester, next school year? Same account, or do I need to create a new one?
So once your child is in the school system and you open an account for them, that account will roll over to the next year. So if they're in second grade now and next year they're in third, you don't have to reset it. Absolutely. If you have $100 in on the last day of school, when they come back the next year, that $100 is still going to be there for them.
The only anomaly to that is when your child ages out of the school district, so when they graduate 8th grade, or if you move out of town or whatever, then obviously their account is no longer active.
And what about the rest?
So if that does happen, they go to 8th grade, they graduate, they're going off to high school, or you move, whatever the case may be, you can reach out to the Board of Ed and be reimbursed for the balance on the account.
Just repeat that one more time. Repeat that. They have that question too. Just repeat that.
About leaving.
Grade to ninth grade.
Okay, so once they leave the school district, or if you move out of the school district and you have $75 still left on the account, you'll reach out to the Board of Ed office and they can send you a reimbursement check from the Board of Ed.
About siblings, do you have to do each child individually with money, or is it like, can we see each child under the same?
So each child will have their own account, but you do have the ability to transfer funds between the three. So
You'll have one login.
yeah, One login, each kid has their,
So like different profiles under one.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so if at some point, you gave one of your children $100 and the other one's out of money, you can go into the system and transfer some of the money into the other student's account. Instead of going on and putting a $100 deposit on each account, put a $300 deposit on one account and transfer the funds to the other two so you don't have to pay an additional fee.
I think you already covered this, but is there a way to put a maximum limit? So if you already put $200 in an account, but that day you want your child to spend only $7 or whatever it is, can you put that?
Absolutely. You can go on and set the limits on a regular basis, a spending threshold.
And the other question I wanted to ask is, can you open 2 different accounts for your children? Like one by mom and one by dad?
No. I mean, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't believe that's possible. I think because it's one student ID number, you wouldn't be able to choose two different.
To share two different usernames.
Well, thank you guys for having us here tonight. Often what happens in these types of meetings is when you leave 10 minutes down the road, you realize you forgot to ask a question. There was something more. Feel free to take a picture of Michael took it down, so don't feel it. Hey, Michael, can you put our emails back up on my computer real quick? If you guys want to take a picture of our email addresses, by all means, you can email us. Any questions you need to, we'll feel free to reach back out to you with an answer. Just a few quick things to say. A, there's plenty of cookies and water left. We baked them for you from scratch right before we came here, so feel free to take as many as you want. Number 2, we do have an on-site director that will be here. However, Sarah Angst is your day-to-day. She'll be running the operations and overseeing the program. So any questions you have can definitely be directed to Sarah on a regular basis. One more thing.
And just one more thing in regards to allergy management, especially if anyone came a little bit later, is I have reached out to all of the school nurses as well, but my contact information is up there, so if you are interested in a specialized menu for your student or your child, please reach out to me sooner rather than later, because obviously it might take, like a week or 2 for us to get everything up and implemented, if it is a particular allergy that we need a specialized menu for.
Food service related questions should go to the food service liaison. Obviously, if you have a question about a lunch or that, and I will tell you again, as an elementary school principal, the first couple of weeks of September, it is all about procedures and routines, right? And it might take a little bit of extra time and just kind of getting through the motions of it, but I promise you, just because I've seen it, that it will work itself through. So please be patient. When your kid phone says, I waited for 45 minutes. Well, first of all, they wouldn't have waited for 45 minutes because that wouldn't happen. But they might wait a little longer in the beginning. It happens. So we are going to work together, but we will share that contact info. The other thing is there's going to be a tab on the district website that is specifically about food service. Mr. Fellow, when do you think that'll be up for people? It is up now. So on the district website, there is a food services tab that will have the information that you can find there as well. And please, feel free to reach out with questions. I know you're going to have to see this, and there's going to be a process and a learning curve for all of us. But we appreciate your partnership, and also we appreciate the partnership with Maschio. They've been absolutely wonderful. This is a relationship. They do this because they care about kids eating and getting nutritious meals during the day, and obviously we are excited to partner with them. So they'll hang around for a little bit after. For the people that are on the recording or watching on the recording, we are going to be ending the recording. Thanks again. Take care.